Why, Larian? Why did you have to make me into a liar? Now I need to slap a part 2 on this video and pretend like it was planned to be this way the whole time. Hello, my fellow adventurers, and welcome back to Everything You Need to Know Before Launch, part 2. My name is McAllik, and today Larian dropped another community update after I was already convinced nothing else was coming out before launch. But they just had to give us another slice of cake. First up is something hugely important that I never would have imagined Larian changing. Y'all remember how we got our tadpole powers, right? Just keep influencing people, keep dreaming, and soon your new spells will appear, right? Well, that's going to change. And it's a bit disgustingly interesting, honestly. From now on, when acquiring Illithid Powers, we actually need to find other tadpoles and eat them. By doing this, we're going to be using an entirely separate talent tree unaffected by our levels. The more we find and consume, the deeper we get with our psionic powers. And of course, we can pull these out of the heads of other victims, or we can also just find them out in the world in non-cranial locations, jars, brine pools, etc., giving us more chances to increase our powers. Each tadpole consumed unlocks another node in that talent tree, another new power that is based on 25 Illithid abilities that we can choose from. These are split between 5 different paths, focusing on powers for manipulation, health restoration, psionics, and abilities that can inflict immense damage and torment enemies to gradually weaken them over time. In general, though, some abilities can be used to control those around you, pushing them to say things in dialogue that they normally wouldn't, while others will allow you to just move people around with basic psionics, strong force pushes and pulls, which we've already seen a bit of that in early access. This is both genuinely disgusting and honestly really interesting as well. I'm mildly excited to see what these abilities all are, and I'm definitely gonna have to do a hidden third playthrough just sprinting to get these abilities so that I can show them off. Oh, and because they reminded me, I'm gonna remind you, one of the Illithid powers we will be getting will let us transform into a displacer beast. You know, the same beast that you got to see during the D&D movie if you went to see it. If I recall correctly, this ability was meant for the druid class originally, but it's possible this got moved since the whole system in general got changed. But hey, we'll find out here in a few days. Alright, and it looks like the devs aren't done with Twitch as a platform for us to use. It looks like between August 3rd and August 17th, that if you spend 2 hours watching the game on Twitch, you will be able to unlock a new camp clothing set for your account. And it looks like it's a full set, all the way down to a pair of shoes and underwear. If this interests you and you want some fancy looking PJs, you will have 2 weeks to acquire them. We also got another quick peek at the final villain known as Orin the Red, and she's actually more terrifying than I originally thought.
His crypt breath sings to my sinews again.
In the end, though, she just looks amazing and sounds amazing, and since we know the Dead 3 are somehow behind all of this plot that's going on, and of course we have 3 chosen of the absolute to take down, I'm going to assume that Orin is probably actually a worshiper of Baal, because, you know, all of the murdering she's been doing. Not to mention, her personality, it seems like it's almost a one-to-one match for Baal's original personality in the lore. Supposedly, only Bane could reel him in because of how crazy he was with murdering and just his general crazy personality. And I suspect that this comparison is going to fall on Kethric's shoulders in order to reel in Orin if she gets too uppity with all of her murdering. They also squeezed in a quick reminder about the respecing system we're all getting. You actually can respec an origin character if you're choosing to play one. But they do want to stress that since their classes were originally tied to their respective stories, you could end up with some rather interesting changes based on what classes you changed them into. They threw up this gif of Lae'zel as a bard, and I can't imagine anything beyond this GIF, and I don't think I want to. We have also been given a map for the global launch times. Now, instead of listing everything out, because I know many of you may not live anywhere near these places, I'll just say this: 11 a.m. New York time. If you go up to Google and type out 11 a.m. New York time, insert your home city time, you will get an accurate local time for you to go and get things started. Cross saves will thankfully be a thing on day 1, and will of course carry over to console once the PS5 catches up and has its own release on September 6th. Moreover, the game will also be compatible with the Steam Deck. So, for those of you who are opting to have the game across multiple platforms, you could save your main PC run to the cloud, boot up that same save file on your Steam Deck while you're sitting on a 2-hour bus ride to your friend's place who lives in the next city over, and then pull up that same save file on your friend's PS5. So if you're someone in that situation, you can do it. You have the freedom to do that. I feel like there aren't many Steam games, or just games in general, that kind of still have that flexibility, and it's nice to see that here. And surprisingly though, Larian is putting effort into 4K and ultra-wide monitor compatibility. They've created a system where all cinematics in the game were created in a way to successfully support those of us with higher end monitors. And as a small example, they're saying that with a good enough CPU and a GPU comparable to a GeForce 3060, you should be able to play at 1440 resolution with 60 FPS, while native 4K will require higher end GPUs like the 4080 or something similar. And it looks like thanks to NVIDIA's DLSS system, those of you using it should be able to reach 4K with lower system requirements than the rest of us. And lastly, Larian has addressed romance one final time. The key word here being final. If I wake up tomorrow and go to work and I see a community update number 23, I might just cry quietly in my office to myself. Anyways, it's nothing too major to address. It's just a basic clarification that when it comes to romances, things can only play out under these 3 circumstances. A played origin character can romance another NPC origin character, so that's going to be what the majority of us are doing anyways. Secondly, an NPC origin cannot romance another NPC origin. So if you're worried about your companions romancing each other behind your back while you're playing, that's not going to happen. And thirdly, played origin characters cannot romance other played origin characters. So if you're running multiplayer with your friends and you find the urge to kiss the homies goodnight when you're doing a long rest, you're out of luck. And you're just going to have to go and do that yourself in person. All right, everyone. And that is everything you need to know before you play part 2. My name is McAllik, and if you liked my content, please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all next time. Stay safe out there.